We're joined now by Democratic State Senator Roland Gutierrez, who represents Uvalde in the Texas State Legislature. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Of course, we saw more funerals today for 10-year-old Jose Manuel Flores Jr. and for teacher Irma Garcia and her husband Joe, who died of a heart attack days after his wife was killed. It's been more than a week now since that mass shooting at Robb Elementary. Just kind of give us a sense how the community is trying to hold it all together at this point.
You know, it's a lot. It's unfortunate that it's going to take at least a couple more weeks to finish all of the burials and certainly the process in the morning that we need to do. There's not enough funeral homes out here. They're just overloaded, and so it's very difficult. In addition, you know, there's just a lot of shock about how this investigation is unfolding. There's been one day you're told one thing, the next day it's another. You know, yesterday they exonerate this teacher that they had been blaming for leaving the door open. Just a whole lot of people pointing fingers at one another. We've got to figure out what we're going to do going forward. The parents want answers, for sure.
You were talking about the finger pointing and the frustration, of course, with the misinformation that's been released by authorities in recent days. What answers are you still pushing for so that the public knows exactly what happened?
So I've asked for a report pinpointing exactly where each officer was and from which law enforcement entity. You know, it's very easy. We heard very early on that they were pointing the finger at this one Arredondo fella, the one that worked for the local school, independent school district. And he certainly bears some responsibility here. But at the end of the day, none of those agencies followed the active shooter protocols. And so for me, I want to know when the next superior agency with superior firepower, ammunition, manpower, at what point are they supposed to take over? And, you know, we have the police, the sheriffs, the state troopers, and finally the federal government. It is very important. These families want answers. Why, for 40 minutes, police didn't go in? Did the other agencies not hear the 911 calls? Were they specifically heard just by the one unit? It's just astounding to me what's happened here.
And I know that you just said it sounds like there's kind of maybe some blame to go around, but in particular, though, I do want to go back to the school district police chief, Pete Arredondo. Do you feel that he's doing enough to cooperate with investigators and sharing information on the decisions that were made in the fateful moments?
You know, this morning, I think he told a news agency that he was cooperating. DPS says he's not cooperating. You know, we really need to get a little bit more transparency from DPS on this issue. And so it's my hope that by Friday, I was told that I'd get the report that I was looking for. Just this evening, I was told that that might be delayed a bit because they are investigating some other issues. At the end of the day, whatever it is that they're looking at, I think that the public here in Uvalde and across Texas needs to know exactly where the agencies were situated and why they didn't take it upon themselves to execute on the active shooter protocols.
Just today, Texas Governor Greg Abbott called for state lawmakers to convene special legislative committees to address issues of school safety and mass violence, but he didn't call for a special legislative session to consider any new bills or to directly address access to guns. Does that fall short of what you're looking for him to do?
Oh, completely. It's the same MO that he did after Santa Fe, El Paso, Sutherland Springs, Midland, Odessa. Listen, we are done with roundtables and recommendations that aren't followed. It's time that we actually get into a special session and do things. What he called today for a special committee is not a special session. We are it's not even an interim committee meeting. And so I don't know what his purpose is with this today. I can't imagine that we'll get to anything more than further recommendations that may or may not be followed in January. But he has within his power the ability to put us back to work on any date certain for 30 days. That is what is called a special session. That did not happen today. And I'm urging that he do that. I'm urging, like the Republican constituents that are calling me on, to raise the age limit from 18 to 21. You have to be 21 to buy a handgun. How you could buy an AR-15 at age 18 is astounding. It's disgusting to me. Fix that one thing.
I actually do want to just follow up on that, because historically, a lot of people have been talking about that. When the laws were made, do you understand why there was ever even a decision that somebody said, well, you have to be 21 to get a handgun, but you can just be 18 to get an automatic weapon?
You know, listen, we were shooting squirrels with our 22s back then. At the end of the day, the technology's changed. These kids are being marketed, militarized weaponry, marketed by Daniels Defense and other such companies. If you look at their ads, it's young teenagers shooting these assault rifles. It is disgusting. And what we hear today is it's about social media, it's about video games, it's about mental health. Yeah, I mean, mental health for sure. There's obviously that component, but we haven't funded it properly. It certainly is about school safety as well, but we haven't funded it properly. But it is absolutely about the thing that they don't want to talk about. When their Republican constituency is calling me to create the change. And I keep telling them I'm trying, but Greg Abbott doesn't want to call us into a special session to actually do it.
Understood. State Senator Roland Gutierrez, we thank you so much for your time joining us once again tonight. And once again, our thoughts continue to be with your community.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.